I want to take you now to our helicopter is over the scene. It's over a home. This is in Green Isle, and what police are telling us is this may be connected to the person of interest that law enforcement is looking for. Green Isle is just about an hour southwest of the cities, and if you look closely, you can see there is some law enforcement activity there.
Yeah, and we're seeing that a little bit closer now, so it's a little easier for us to see on our monitors here. It looks like just those two vehicles that we can see outside of this home right now, which obviously is in more of a rural area, and it looks like there's another building behind there. I don't know if that's another home necessarily connected to that same property, but we're seeing two different homes right there. Right,
and we understand, and not sure who this home belongs to, but we understand that law enforcement is looking for a person of interest. Once again, to remind you, that's 57-year-old Vance Boelter, person of interest in these politically motivated shootings of lawmakers. So we'll continue to keep an eye on this for you. We'll have our chopper stay up there. Again, it may be connected to a person of interest. This is down in Green Isle. And once again, this is the photograph of that person of interest, Vance Boelter, impersonating law enforcement there. We also have a statement that just came in. I think this is important to talk about. Caroline just talked about it here, but this is when you are talking about just both sides of the aisle coming together on this here. This was a joint statement. It was released from Tom Emmer's office and Senator Amy Klobuchar's office there, and I'm going to read it to you, Derek. Why don't you go ahead and can you see this?
Yep.
Okay?
It says, "Today we speak with one voice to express our outrage, grief, and condemnation of this horrible attack on public servants. There is no place in our democracy for politically motivated violence. We are praying for John and Yvette's recovery, and we grieve the loss of Melissa and Mark with their family, colleagues, and Minnesotans across the state. We are grateful for law enforcement's swift response to the situation and continued efforts." Again, that is a joint statement from the Minnesota congressional delegation.
Right, and so that would be, this would be Representative Tom Emmer, who is in leadership in Congress there, Senator Amy Klobuchar, Senator Tina Smith, but all of the representatives. You're talking about Representative Brad Finstead, Representative Angie Craig, Representative Kelly Morrison, Representative Betty McCollum, Representative Ilhan Omar, Representative Michelle Fischbach, and Representative Pete Stauber. So the entire delegation. And these are all people that have been working together for a long time. Melissa Hortman has been in politics. I mean, Amy Klobuchar said it. She said, we came up together. They were good friends.
Like 2004 for Hortman.
Absolutely. I mean, you're talking about 20 years here of giving to that public service there. So we go back to what Caroline was saying, is these are colleagues there, but many of them also friends too. But the importance of both sides coming together and condemning this political violence and the loss of their colleague.
Yeah, and right now that manhunt continues for a 57-year-old man, a person of interest by the name of Vance Boelter, who is wanted in these politically motivated shootings, which took place during the early morning hours after 2 o'clock this morning.
Right. Now we want to show you another picture here of Vance Boelter here. So once again, this is a case where police now looking for this person of interest. They still have a lockdown in that area around Representative Hortman's home. It's a 3-mile radius around there, asking people not to leave their homes. They're asking people, if an officer does come up to your home, make sure it's 2 officers that are coming together to your home.
One thing that we're learning is we're digging in a little bit to Vance Boelter's background. Again, person of interest in this case. He was appointed to the Governor's Workforce Development Council first in 2016 by Governor Mark Dayton and then in 2019 by Governor Tim Walz. So he does have connections to politics at a state level.
Now, we also just confirmed that that house down in Green Isle, we were showing you that chopper video there, that is the home of Vance Boelter there. So you can see again that law enforcement activity. We just showed it to you. Here it is once again. This is live video from our WCCO helicopter. Again, Green Isle, just about an hour southwest here of the cities. So we'll continue to stay here, but we saw, I don't know, Derek, maybe at least 3 or 4 law enforcement vehicles. We see the regular home, and then we see some other outbuildings over there on the side. So again, person of interest, 57-year-old Vance Boelter.
And meanwhile, the No Kings rally continues, even though Minnesota State Patrol tried to get the word out that they did not want people to attend that today because of the fact that you still had, a suspect, an armed gunman, out on the loose. And we do know that it appears that at least the speeches portion of this has wrapped up. I know I saw earlier Attorney General Keith Ellison was one of the folks who took to the podium and spoke there today. But as you can see from this live shot, Heather, thousands still made their way out because I think many didn't get the word in time before they were en route to this event today.
And I also think Jennifer Mayerly is out there right now, and I heard her speaking to some of the people there, and they did get the word, but they came out here because of this. And
decided to stay.
And said, no, look, this is important for me to be here. I want to be here. Jennifer said it was hard to even count. I mean, people are going on in those state capitol grounds, but we're talking about thousands of people there. We know that originally Governor Walz had been scheduled to speak at this rally. He, of course, will not be there today. We understand he is at the Emergency Operations Center and has been there throughout the morning here.
And we had heard that they were going to go on with what they had there at the state capitol, but basically the speakers were going to shorten their messages so that this would not last as long as was previously expected or planned.
Right. We also know that there are other planned protests that are happening all around the cities in different communities in different neighborhoods. But this was really the big one. This was the one in St. Paul over at the state capitol that many people had planned to attend and then continued to attend even after, may not, as Derek mentioned, had heard the news this morning, but continued to attend after they had heard the terrible news of these shootings.